How y'all feeling? This is Chocolate Torpedo once again, and I'm back for, this is I believe part 8 of this horror cult exploitation DVD update. And I'll go ahead and set this off with Death by Temptation, a film by James Bond III, released by Troma Retro. Basically follows the story of this temptress that hangs out at this bar and lures men in to have sex with them and just destroy them, basically kill them. She's like a vampire / demon. And Joel, played by James Bond III, the director and producer of the movie, Joel is playing this kid that's studying to become a minister, and he goes out to visit his buddy Kay, played by Kadeem Hardison. Everybody knows Kadeem Hardison from the show A Different World and the movie White Men Can't Jump. But anyway, he goes to visit his friend Kay, played by Kadeem, in New York to kind of see if ministry is really what he wants to go into, because he wants to kind of experience life before he straps himself down, I guess. But anyway, so Kadeem basically takes him out to this bar where the temptress is at, the vampire / demon chick, and Joel gets caught up with her, and Kadeem tries to warn him about her. And basically, once they find out who and what she is, they both try and figure out how to stop her and get rid of her. And that's basically the story. There's more to it, obviously, but I don't want to spoil anything any more than I might have already. But and Samuel L. Jackson is actually in this. It's listed as Samuel L. Jackson's first. I believe the word they use is first role, but I know he played a small part in Coming to America as the guy that was trying to rob McDowell's restaurant, and I know that was put out in the 1980s, like 88 or something like that. So I'm not sure if they meant first feature role, starring role, or what, but it was definitely one of his first roles anyway. But definitely a different twist on the vampire and demon movies. Basically picked this up on the strength of that Fangoria book that I mentioned, the 100 Best Horror Films You've Never Seen. It's mentioned in there, and also there's a quote on here by someone you other DVD updaters might recognize, Sean C. Phillips, Cool Duder. He says it's 1,000,000 times better than Twilight, and I've never seen Twilight, so I can't really compare the two, but it's kind of making me want to watch Twilight, which I wasn't in a big hurry to go and see for a lot of different reasons, but definitely don't hesitate to pick this up if you see it. Underrated, unheard of a vampire movie that no one really talks about. It's kind of a different twist on things, and definitely worth the look. And it's kind of making me want to pick up Twilight just because of this quote on here, just to see what all the fuss is about that movie. Again, I wasn't in a rush to see it, so I mean, I guess when it comes out, when the price on the DVD goes down, I'll probably pick it up or something. But in no rush. Definitely check this movie out. Next up, we have Lucio Fulci's Touch of Death, and everyone knows that's seen Cat in the Brain that he used scenes from this movie. There's quite a few scenes from this movie that he took for Cat in the Brain, but basically follows this guy that has a gambling problem. He's in debt to these bookies, so he finds these women with deformities and, has sex with them and basically kills them and takes their money. That's basically the whole story. At the end, he kind of gets caught up, but that's basically it. It's really, really gory. Anybody who's seen Cat in the Brain knows it's gory because the scenes are lifted from this movie, but obviously not Fulci's best movie, but definitely one worth checking out if you want to see like where they got the scenes from for Cat in the Brain. And it is actually pretty funny in parts, so check this out. This one I got for free, kind of, sort of. It was the FYE where you buy like 3 and you get the 4th used free. It was alright. It's about this girl that goes to the school. and there's these girls that keep coming up missing, and there's kind of it revolves around like witches and things like that. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but it's not the worst. Some pretty freaky parts in it, and towards the end there's like a nice little cool killing spree with an axe. So to me that was kind of the highlight of the movie as far as the visuals are concerned. But I mean, it's a decent little movie, I thought, starring Bruce Campbell as well. So I mean, if you can find this cheap, definitely pick it up. And then we have The Dentist 2, picks off where the first one leaves off. Pretty standard for this type of movie. I have to say The Dentist 1 is obviously the better of the two films, but this one was still pretty funny. Some gory parts. There's a gory like little torture scene where he's trying to get information out of this chick that actually knows who he is, because his character, he escapes from a mental institution and he goes to this town to try to start a new life, but people are on to him because he's using a different identity, but certain people are on to him. So that's basically the whole story. The ending was kind of funny and you're kind of like, what the fuck was that about, you know? It almost didn't even make any sense, but it was really over the top and pretty funny. I guess if you can find this cheap, or if you just want to have both movies, wouldn't hesitate to pick it up. And I believe, yep, it's directed by Brian Usna as well, just like the first one. Next up we have Sinful Dwarf. I saw this on one of Mr. Parker's updates. Checked it out, and it's a very, very strange movie. It's basically about this dwarf. He lives with his, I guess it's his mom, and they're basically pimping out these women in their basement, you know, injecting them with heroin, having random dudes coming in, having sex with them, and it is definitely a demented movie. And the cover here says, the mother of all Dwarfsploitation films. I didn't know there were any other Dwarfsploitation films, but I don't know. If you could find this, definitely, if you're into exploitation films, I guess, this is definitely one you want to pick up, because it's actually pretty funny in parts. Very disturbing subject matter, obviously. Actually, we're picking up for the quote on the front, but and it's a Severin release. So definitely, if you see this for a decent price, definitely pick it up. And then we have Tombs of the Blind Dead, filmed by Armando de Osorio. I guess that's how you say it. Blind Dead Collection, Blue Underground release. And I watched this. I didn't really get into it when I was watching it. Found myself somewhat bored by it. It's probably one of those ones that I'm gonna have to go and watch again. But I think where I fucked up though was there's two versions of the film, Spanish version and English version. I watched the English version, which is noticeably shorter, so I'm probably gonna have to watch the Spanish version to get the entire film. But I don't know. I thought it was all right the first time I watched it, so I'll probably sit down and watch that Spanish version eventually. But I kept hearing people talking about this movie, and I keep seeing people showing that Blind Dead collection box set in their movie, or in their video, so I decided to pick it up. Next up we have Dust Devil, a Richard Stanley film. It's basically about this serial killer that goes around killing people, and there's this woman involved, kind of following him, tracking him down to see what he's about, but there's actually more to him than the fact that he's a serial killer, but I won't get into it because it's kind of a big spoiler, big plot point. He's more than just a serial killer. He's not human, basically. I'll just leave it at that. Oh, this is the five disc set. It's got the final cut of the film. It's got the work print, and it's got, a little documentary by Richard Stanley. And it's got this other documentary, The White Darkness, Voice of the Moon, and then it's got the soundtrack. So it's a nice little set. It's also got this little book, or it's not a little book, it's actually pretty thick. A few books, actually. Little comic book, production diary, and some stuff about the documentaries. I think I picked this up for around $20 or so. I mean, it's a pretty nice set for $20, and actually a really decent movie. Definitely do not hesitate to pick this up either, if you see it for a decent price. I'll go ahead and stop this here because I'm approaching the time limit. Stay tuned for part 9, which I'll probably try and record tonight, so stay tuned. Peace.